Massenomics.
Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
I think so. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of the Massenomics Podcast. I am Tyler, joined by Tommy.
What's up?
And sometimes, most of the time, Tanner.
Hey.
Tanner, you did your hair for this one.
Whoa.
What's going on here?
Still
Did you
from
just
work.
Did you just get done with work?
I didn't go to the gym today, so I didn't get all sweaty.
Well,
I
guys,
did go to the gym, so you guys don't let my crazy pump scare you during
is this your work clothes too?
These are my work clothes. Actually, yeah,
gym
my gym
clothes
clothes and work clothes are
This is
crazy similar these days.
This is exactly what I wore to work tonight too. My short swimming trunks and flip flops.
It really is the only way to live. I mean, I can't.
This is what I wore to work today, too.
Was it Casual Tuesday?
Yeah.
Do you have to wear ties every day?
I don't wear ties. No, I used to. At my other job, I used to have to wear ties every
It
day.
was
but
like
now,
a requirement at the bank.
during the winter months, during the summer months, I didn't have to wear ties.
Which was the time of year when you didn't do anything?
The
when you
summer.
did less.
Yeah, the summer is my slow time. Always.
And that's when you no ties.
No ties, yeah.
That's one of the things that, like, having your own dress code is just really, really nice. Like,
It's also a really
Because then you
slippery
can
slope.
wear a tie every day. and then
yeah, like I can wear a tie. I don't
That's
have
the
to.
direction I'd go.
I can wear a tie any season. I don't have to have someone tell me what season I can and can't wear it.
Do you have your own employee handbook
Well,
that you give yourself?
I have a mental handbook that I'm a real stickler on.
You're very much more. I will say you're definitely more disciplined than I, but you're also much better at like protecting yourself from yourself. Like
Yeah, you have to have safeguards in
You're
place.
pretty good about your time management, knowing that like shit's gonna get away from you.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, I'm gonna go down like a 90-minute Instagram vortex right now.
Yeah, that's. If I do that, I end up paying for it. Like,
Yeah, I'll start answering some emails. I was like, oh, I gotta get this done and this done, and then I'm like, and nonsense. And then next thing I know, the whole afternoon's gone, and I've taken 2 naps and
yeah, your monkey brain kicked in and you lost control.
yes, and the pay reflects it. But this week we've got kind of a hodgepodge of stuff to get over. Hope you guys dug last week's episode on. Last week was the starting your own gym episode.
I think that was a good episode.
We got a ton of feedback on that.
I'm sure people have opened up successful gyms all across the country.
I think since that episode, we've got probably twice as many gyms now.
Rogue is now a multi-billion-dollar company just off of last week.
There's Massenomics affiliates all over the world.
That's the more important thing.
One actual good feedback is I saw Painter Periodization, which is Timothy Painter. He had shared that episode and said some good info on this podcast, and I commented to him. I said, "Oh, didn't know you listened. That's cool." And he said, "Absolutely, it's my go-to lifting podcast now that the Powercast is over." I said, "All right, that's cool."
Naturally,
That's
right?
That's a natural transition.
So I got-
Painter Periodization is his.
On that subject,
Painter with a Y.
have you guys been keeping up on Mark Bell's newer stuff?
Not even a lick.
I've listened to a few of the. Just based on the guests, I'd say like every fourth one or so, there's been someone that
So, like the ones with the guests, are they just
Hey,
Powercast with Mark Bell only, or
Yeah, and then he has a guy,
crew kinda,
yeah, like some guy that runs it. That I don't know what it, I've
Probably
never-
maybe getting paid a little less than Jim used to get paid.
I don't know what it looks like. I never
Maybe.
watched it on video, but I feel like he's not sitting at the table. He's
more like a producer?
Yeah,
kinda?
he's
Okay,
like
yeah.
talking. He'll chime in from the back of the radio studio or
And then
whatever.
as Mark, like, you sit back in your tower.
Yeah. So otherwise it's similar.
I've been out of the loop on it. It just the things kind of kept changing and moving, and I just sort of lost
I
interest.
don't like it as well, but
Sean's and I were talking. I don't know how much down like the the science rabbit hole you guys get with some of the like lifting podcasts, but
Is this about global warming again?
no, don't talk to Sean's about global warming. No, but the Muscle Expert podcast. That's one with Ben Pekulski. I don't know if you remember him. He was one like the dude with all the scientists in Generation Iron.
He has been on Mark Bell's Powercast just recently. They had him on there too.
But I don't remember where I had seen him or who he was with, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck, I remember that guy. And I started following him on Instagram, and then saw he had a podcast, and it is probably my new favorite training podcast. It's pretty
So are
sweet.
they more or less scientific than us?
It is only slightly more scientific than we are. It is exceptional information, like really, 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 really good information. Definitely better information than you're going to get here, but probably not quite as entertaining. He's a little more jacked than we are still, unfortunately, for us.
Yeah, but it's like a comedian, like a big fat comedian's always more funny than
That's why
how many comedians
Like,
do you
come
see
on,
that are
Fat Jonah Hill was always funnier.
Yeah, that's true. There was a I don't know if you remember, Rogan used to always have a deal on his podcast. There was a guy back in the day who was a comedian who was really funny, but he like lifted weights and was like just too jacked.
Yeah,
and Joe always
Talking about Carrot Top.
well, getting to be
He's weird.
Speaking of that, Tommy, you could
I like it when people throw that one out there. I'm like, I literally look nothing. Like,
No,
I mean, I get it.
you-
I'm a guy with long
you
hair,
literally
but
just have hair.
yeah.
But he said there was this guy that was a stand-up comedian. But he was had his arms were too big, and it was really distracting. And he'd be like, he'd go up there and like a guy with big arms wearing a tight shirt.
Yeah.
And they would tell him all the time, like, you gotta kind of slop it up a little bit. You can't go up there
too
looking like
threatening.
that. Yeah, you just look too jacked, and nobody relates to you. Mm-hmm. Which is what life is like for Tommy.
It's a real problem.
That's why now he has a job where he just lives in his house.
Yeah, I
Sits in his house.
had to hermit it up and go into hiding.
Can't be dealing with all them looky-loos.
What's
Guys,
that?
I don't know if you know this,
Your
but
new
my,
Acer PC.
my
is-
new Acer PC is due for some antivirus protection and probably a screen. So what are we going to dive into right away? We've got, do we have a Dimitar update?
I would love to hear about the Dimitar update.
We are supposed to have a weekly Dimitar segment, and I don't know, we may have went a couple weeks without talking about Dimitar, so that's our bad.
So we do Dimitar.
But he has been up to something. in case
He's
you
been
guys
up
have
to
wondering.
something. And
Dimitar's always up to something.
we talked about him taking the road down some powerlifting for a little bit this off season. Do you know Dimitar has Snapchat? About to follow that. So
I don't use it. I don't really use it anymore. I don't follow. Since they changed things.
Well,
then-
they made the update,
I
and
see
then
they
if you
changed
haven't
it
touched it back,
back.
they've gone back a little bit.
but they
now.
lost me there. That they.
I think they lost a lot of people.
Yeah. I
what
think it's been bad
platform
for 'em,
do
right?
you use to send pictures of your genitalia? just go back to text.
Just old. I just
photos.
Polaroids and I hand them out. It's,
The mail.
I want to be a little more personal about it.
Just like on the street. Like, ma'am, here you go.
Dick picture. It's an actual picture.
It's not even mine. So he lifted in. Do we know where this meet was?
Georgia.
Was it in Georgia?
Yep.
Okay. So our man Les Keys was there, and did I see?
Which is amazing that he ran into him.
It is hilarious. It's so great.
He went there he was there to coach one of his
Is that what he's doing?
lifters, and he was like, "Oh, did not expect that I was going to be."
Was he was there coaching. Was it? It's Perseus.
Yeah,
right?
that
And
guy.
so,
that
what's his
really
name?
strong dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I can't pull up the photo. Did you screenshot it? It was one of those.
No, it
fast-
doesn't.
It
Yeah.
was one of those Snapchat version of Instagram photos. But it was basically a picture. I think the picture was just of like the heat, right, of the flight.
Yeah.
And so it was the flight, and it was like, came here to coach so and so, and what the fuck, and it was the whole list of everybody, and then there's Dimitar Savatinov on the list, and I know Les listens to the podcast, so he knew that we were talking about Dimitar doing one sometime, and then to just show up at the meet and be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't know what could be a bigger maybe Larry Wheels showing up at your meet might be more exciting.
Yeah.
Arnold showing up might be more exciting, but I mean, just for
me, it's Dimitar.
For Dimitar to just show up out of the blue, like that
would be awesome. So, and we were wondering, we were curious going in how he would put together, a whole meet, and I'd say it went pretty well for him. I mean, he bombed out of the deadlift because he tore his hands open. But all things considered, it's not like he was there to that wasn't like a big career thing for him.
Right.
So he put together a decent meet. I think we had a squat that went through. He said he hit 1,025.
The spotters.
But the spotter touched him and the bar.
Yeah.
Really?
And
he said,
They
but
kinda
he
said
even
he
didn't
think-
complain.
yeah.
He said, I'm happy with it because they went for safety reasons.
Okay, so it was very borderline. then.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like
It was a
he thinking
wacky.
maybe-
It was
Is
kind
this
of
it
a
right
wacky.
here?
Look at the spotter behind him if you have the video.
Yeah, right
this
there.
If I remember right, isn't he like
Huge.
enormous?
Damn, yeah, he's
God, and he
a
just
big guy.
it's
like
stuck.
Dimitar looks like a tiny, a little
Spotter
guy
is
next to him.
fucking huge. And
Like he's got to be 8 inches on him easy,
Yeah.
right? And isn't Dimitar's like 6 feet, right? Or
Dim-
pretty close.
And to Dimitar's credit, to not, I mean, I don't think he was super stoked at the moment, but he had the lift, but he didn't have any more than that lift if it went up. So
So what do you end with on squats then? 9.
What was it here? We've got
960 something or
914 was his opener. Motherfucker. Sorry, guys. We're really, really prepared here. 914.
It's their fault when they don't post exactly like
Right?
Come on, give us the meat recap. you know?
981 on the squat.
That's not a bad day of
That's a
squats,
pretty
and
good.
then just missed. Wow.
Just missed 1025.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
which puts him in some pretty crazy company.
Yeah.
yeah. And then
Got a good
in
bench,
his
too.
first powerlifting meet.
Yeah.
Then benched 567. I believe that 567 was no gear.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was raw.
They said no supportive. Only supportive equipment was knee
neck.
wraps.
Oh, he didn't have a slingshot on?
No, and his neck.
Yeah.
Do you know what attempt that was? Did he go 3 for 3 on bench?
I thought it was, and I thought it was easy, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Yeah, it looked.
He really has his leverages working to his advantage when it comes to bench.
Yes.
that range of motion is
That 567 looked like fucking nothing. That's for sure.
actually
So-
his range of motion isn't bad. He has a large belly to help
Yeah.
him out on that thing.
He got invited to after this meet. Then he got invited to Big Dogs.
Oh, did he?
And it sounded like he was gonna do it.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
I would really like that.
Yeah.
That'd be
So it'd
actually.
like
I'd
him
like
going
to see
against Milanichuk
Yeah, I'd
and
like
Dan
to see
Bell
more
and
strongmen
Eric
make
Lillibridge.
that because Big
Yeah.
Dogs is a meet that pays out decent money, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
And we need Dan to line us up with Dimitar.
Yes.
He needs to be like, all right, listen, Big D. These guys are gonna seem weird, but they are really weird. But you
just roll with it.
just roll with it. But all in all,
So it was deadlifts though. The opener tore his hand up. Is
I
that?
think so.
I think so. And I didn't see anything of it, but it looked like I tore his hand.
And he was
Must have been-
opening around what?
I don't know.
Oh, I think it was 8 something.
That's what I thought. It was
Yeah.
800 maybe.
I lost it now, but 8 something.
Not a bad opener.
But now, speaking of Dimitar, I believe up until recently he held the circus dumbbell world record.
Mateusz Kielkowski just broke it. He
Yeah.
did 150 kilograms, and that's what Dimitar has been trying for the last year or so is to do the 150. And
That'd be 330 for you people that aren't.
And Mateusz doing that, it did not
It
look
looked
that hard.
And
pretty easy.
he still blows my mind because he doesn't look fat. Like he just looks like an athletic guy. And I
He's a
get like,
big, strong, athletic guy.
He said
He
he
is.
weighs like 340 now.
He
so he's
does,
getting pretty
really?
big, but
yeah,
but he still looks like he could get bigger.
he does. Like I would have never guessed 340.
In that
Do we know
competition,
how old he is yet? Have we
can't
locked
remember.
that in?
I was thinking he was only like 26 or 27, but I don't remember anymore.
Wow, that's really
I
impressive.
think and Martins won this event.
Yeah.
Or won this competition.
Because the
Mateusz
deadlift.
got second.
But because Mateusz won every event
Except
but
the
the deadlift, where he got last. So he literally got first in every other event.
I
But-
don't think that Mateusz is, and we say a shitty deadlifter. He's an 800 some pound deadlifter.
Yeah.
Just relative to the strongest people in the world, he's just too. I think it's young. I think it's just youth.
That's you think he's just going to continue to get better and better at it. Like
That's
eventually
the thing, it's just gonna take time.
but he probably only needs to be like middle of the pack. Like he doesn't need to be the best at
can't
deadlifting.
be the worst.
He just needs to get like middle, and then he's so good at everything else.
He's like a breeze after
Yeah.
that.
but yeah,
I was wondering
mean,
how that worked out that he got second.
Yeah.
When I saw that podium.
Yeah, it's because he won every event, but
So what event was this that they were doing, or what was this?
that was actually
it
just
called?
that was the dumbbell. But that dumbbell, that was not even a part of the thing. He
Oh, it
just
was
did that
different?
in intermission,
Oh,
and then
he
he
did?
did the log event right after that and
Wow.
won. And he was the only one to press the 400 log. It was like a log medley. Like
so
I
you
don't
got
know.
the final one is 400 pounds.
Yeah, and
really.
he was
so Martins must have been second, third on pretty much
he must have been
everything.
close on everything else.
So,
So what was the competition though? Like, what was it? Just somewhere in Europe?
was
or
it
they-
official Ultimate Strongman?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Ultimate Strongman. I don't know.
Did you see the flag raise event that they did?
I liked that. It was
was
cool.
like-
So imagine like the Fingal's fingers where you have
Yep.
to get under it from the front and drive it up.
Except you're
it's
standing
between
behind
your
it.
legs. You got to back up with it.
And you have to like it's
So imagine like a flag pole laying on the ground and you have to pick it up between your legs.
Yep.
and pull it up.
Oh
towards
yeah,
you.
pull it up. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
It's like
But you
almost like a
can't- but you
deadlift, but
couldn't
right
go-
off the ground.
That seems that seems
And you couldn't
really
go
awkward.
all the way out to the end and back up.
Yeah, they had like a line on it where everyone had to grab, because you could go way out at the end and pick it up and like walk back really far. Well, you were only out like 4
Oh,
feet.
okay. So you weren't
You
you
had
weren't
to be
doing like
right
a
by the ground.
30-foot back
No,
up. Like,
you're basically just picking it up.
okay.
just one
I
big-
gotcha.
Stepping back maybe.
Yeah, that
once.
is. I think
Which
that's
is a
cool
movement
though.
I wouldn't even know where to start to train. That's the thing. I'd just show up to.
Yeah.
But I think
Yes.
that is good, like, because I think we've talked about this before. Is sometimes with strongman, it seems like you're starting to see more and more of kind of this standardized thing.
Yeah.
Which is like,
It's good.
I
and
mean,
bad.
I'm not really a strongman competitor. I'm not a strongman competitor. So, like, I get it. It's when it's standardized, you can probably get more people into it. But also, that's kind of the circus aspect
Yeah.
of strongman is that like you get weird shit in there. Like,
Yep.
I think it's interesting though how that blend still matters. Like it needs to be. There needs to be some standardization. It can't all be so odd.
yep.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
The first years of it were extremely odd.
Did you
where
see-
it's
there was a clip-
fridge
I-
carry.
I think it was on
wrestle.
Strongman Motivation the other day. They had was it like an enormous fan, and they were carrying a sheet of plexiglass walking towards
Yes,
the fan?
that was ridiculous.
I couldn't believe that was an
so
event.
dangerous. I thought I was like, why? That's just pure danger.
That seems like something out of a comic
yeah,
book.
like literally, they're holding a giant piece of plexiglass and like walking it forward.
It's like fucking Captain America.
Well, and I'm like,
leaning
is that
with
a
his shield?
feat of strength or just like?
At what point are you just like making up stunts?
it's like that's
and
like what
that's
like the
truth,
guys
like-
on Jackass would do, years ago. It's like,
That's the truth. Is there's a line between it being a strength sport and fucking just stunts.
Well, there was one I saw that was on Strongman Motivation where it was. This is serious. It was a sack race
yep, I saw
saw
it.
that.
to
Yeah.
And
something.
this was a medley, like it
yeah,
was
and
a-
then a rope climb, and then a bench press. Like had to do something for so many reps,
Yeah.
and then you had to like run to the finish line. And I'm like, a sock hop, really? Like,
Like that is.
And actually,
Look
when
like-
I was
look like
watching that,
CrossFit Regionals.
but when I was watching that, I was like, I would actually really like to see Brian Shaw
Well,
do this.
do you think any of those guys could do a rope climb? Do you think Brian Shaw can do a rope climb?
I honestly wouldn't know. It would be fun. I wouldn't know where they'd be at in body weight things at all. Like I really have no idea.
I don't
like,
know.
what's
all
your
so
bet though?
strong.
Do you think Brian Shaw could climb to the top
Yes,
of the rope? Okay.
I do, but I believe simply because rope climb is a technique.
Well,
Yeah.
like assuming he gets his legs in it,
You
and
get
does
the
that.
leg.
Yeah.
There's a loop, and you lock it in.
But this
Obviously
guy-
is strong as hell. But
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
just
definitely like because I can do rope climb, and I'm not transcendently strong.
Yeah.
And my strength to body weight ratio is definitely worse than his.
they're not going to look good doing it. Though,
Well, and
that's
the
for
reason
sure.
I want to see,
And the ropes are going to need to be double checked.
yeah, really anchor that thing
Yeah.
in.
And that you might need to drug test the ropes too.
But somebody like Brian Shaw, especially, like he's one that between every event, sizes it up and is so calculated. Like I want to see kind of a medley where he's like, it's totally random and
Chaos
you
of
can't,
He's like, all right, so
throw him to the wolves.
What's the ideal position for me to set my potato sack up so I can get up and really streamline my transition?
But the guys now are so strong
They are.
that it's just different than when they were
It
doing
would
it
be
then.
it would be kind of cool to see how they can do with things that are body weight stuff, just because they are so. It would be an interesting equalizer with some of the young guys that got some time to put size on.
Yeah.
Things like something like this is going to just sound like but for a CrossFit thing, but like, see how many of these guys can knock out handstand push-ups at 400
Or even
pounds.
get into a handstand push-up.
But I think you'd be surprised. I mean,
Well,
they
I
are
mean,
athletic. I think we might be surprised because again, if I can do them, and I'm literally nobody, I'm just.
But
so,
I mean, it does take a certain amount of coordination. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think your average person, they're not your average person, but you're not just going to flip into one and be
No,
like, yeah, I've been doing
no.
this forever. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
yeah, but I do think they are more athletic than a lot of people would give them credit for.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see. But I'm sure we've talked about this too. Do you remember the deal with like they were actually like flipping over cars in the street?
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Well, they
Like,
kept
were,
falling on them.
back on
Well,
people.
that was like turned out to be like the most dangerous event they ever did, where they'd roll those cars side over side, like because like it was just a war of attrition of who could not have the car land back on them and get
Who
hurt.
could not
like
die.
literally half the field was out that year in World's Strongest
weren't
Man
they trying
because
to
of
like
that.
throw barrels under it
Yeah,
to like
like
stop
kegs.
it? Yeah.
And then it was just like putting the spotters in danger too. So instead of one person,
And
being
wasn't
in-
there the one in the 80s where they were, I can't remember what they were carrying, and the guy dropped it over the edge and it landed on the
That-
other guy?
over the edge of that
Like that
the
bridge they were
stairway?
going-
Yeah,
yeah.
That's,
What was it? It wasn't a rock. I can't remember what it was, but
yeah.
he dropped it and it landed
Yes.
on the other guy. It was that really huge guy. I cannot think of his name.
Yeah,
He's not alive anymore
I can picture
either.
the one you're talking about. Events that they don't do anymore that I don't know that I like these and would like them to even do them is where they do these like physical head-to-head events. where
Yeah,
it's
I don't
like
care as-
like
I don't
sumo
care as much
wrestling
for
and stuff
those,
like that.
yeah.
Like
No.
or like where you're actually taking there's just too much element of injury and stuff. I think when you're,
injury and then just too much technique not related to.
being strong. Like
Yeah.
it's not even like you're not even comparing a skill and strength. When you go head to head, it becomes about defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's
Well,
which
and
is
just
fine.
gaming that event for whatever
which,
reason.
I don't
which
think
is
that's
fine,
the
but that's just not the
general-
nature of the sport.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like basketball, where like it's just a a free throw contest, but you can like psych people out.
yeah.
Which I'd be okay if there was more of that in strength sports. Like a
like
little
like
trash talk.
WWE promos being
Yeah,
cut between things.
or specifically, there's some bad guys in the world of strongman and powerlifting,
like Eddie Hall flipping the middle finger
but
in the
there's
middle of
no fucking bad guys in CrossFit. Like there needs to be someone out there going, I am just gonna fuck Matt Fraser
Yeah.
up this year, and none of them are gonna say anything because they're gonna all get their clocks cleaned by him, and but it'd be nice to have some hype. Mm-hmm. I was looking at this. Mateus, as of this was a year ago, is 24, so he's 25 right now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, gives him, barring any major, I mean, he's got a decade of getting stronger before he's going to start having any fucking.
And what's Thor like 30? Is he right around there?
I would think
Jeez,
so.
I don't know.
29
Let's
30.
just make it up.
Yeah, he's 30.
Definitely 30.
Not very strong though.
Do you see his tattoos?
What are they?
He just posted about this, and
He
I
got
mean,
like his whole chest
it-
and stuff
it-
finished now.
it's a good looking piece for a guy of his size. Like, I mean, they're doing a good job with it, and the way it's comes across it goes up his arms and comes across his chest, but like his traps are exposed, and I feel like all that does is make your traps look
Even
that
bigger.
much bigger because it creates such a hard line
Do you ever,
where
do you
it
ever
goes across
notice
your shoulders.
on things like that where, like, I'm certain that like all of Rich Piana's tattoos were specifically designed to make him
with
look
that
bigger.
in mind.
Like he had like the spider thing on the bicep to make it look 3-dimensionally even bigger. Like,
But that's what it does, though.
if you could go in and specifically design your tattoos just to make you look more jacked.
He's really tatted up, huh?
Let me see. Yeah.
And if you look close on his left shoulder, it's almost like he's getting that thing removed.
No, that is the big huge tribal tattoo looks
What
like it's
is it?
coming off. 'Cause remember, you used
Like,
to have that big.
he had those
gaudy
tribal tattoos,
tattoo on
and
the
if you
shoulder.
look closely, like it's heavily faded.
Yeah, that's
like
What is that process? Is that super painful?
that's fucking really bad. It's like 10 times worse than
it's
getting
like
tattooed.
lasering, You
and
can-
it
well,
takes way more tries.
yeah.
yeah.
That's
So I'll
that
like
doesn't seem worth it. I just
no,
like,
I'm like cover it up.
yeah. Do
do
Because
anything.
people do that where
Yeah,
they
just-
change it up, and I was like, geez, I
But
can't
his
even
was so
recognize.
big and bold, and you're looking at like 2-inch lines.
Yeah.
Like it would just be a mess of
Yeah.
black, which I'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, everybody who has tattoos probably has some they don't like,
Yeah.
or most of them they don't like.
You know, he kind of has a similar thing to Brock Lesnar with the sword on his chest.
Good old dick neck
But,
Brock
but I
Lesnar.
would
His
say
looks a lot
Thor's
better.
doing it much better though.
Yeah, Lesnar's one just looks
sword
like
to his
someone
neck.
tattooed a dick on his chest, and it's fucking
And
dumb.
it's so random because
When it's just there's no context, so there's just a thing right between his man boobs. At least Thor's looks like it's part of a greater thing.
the composition, would you say, is really pulling together?
Yeah. Martin Lixus is 27. So the future's bright.
And Konstantin Janashia got third, and he is also
Is he the one with the weird traps?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we
That's-
talk about that?
he's huge.
But he has
It's
he, ha- he
weird,
has
though,
a he has
how
he has a
bubbly they
third
are.
trap
Yeah.
in the middle that looks like it's definitely synthol.
That's what it looks
It's
They
like.
just
look like,
round.
They look
Yeah.
like John
It's
Anderson
round and
synthol traps.
bulbous.
The
But there's
Georgian bull.
but there's no
Yeah.
benefit to that in Strongman. Like there's no benefit to adding synthol.
He actually had a post like acknowledging or mentioning that like everyone claims I have synthol
And
in
he
my
said
traps,
it's
and
not.
I've
Yeah.
never done
Yeah.
that. I would never do that. But it's so weird how maybe he's just the one genetic freak that has something going on. I don't understand how.
I just want to know what that is in the middle of his back. Like what that one is. Like is it a cyst?
Yeah.
It could be.
But why does it look identical to your two traps? Just in another place.
Yeah.
Like did they have a baby?
You see some strange physique things in Strongman, and that might take the cake for me for the most unusual.
What about Dimitar? Any of his looks?
Nah,
You know, his neck.
Can't really think of anything off the top of my head there.
I'm liking Dimitar's beard look now though.
Yeah.
I don't know why he goes. I'd just be the big bearded strongman dude if I was, just rock it.
Yeah. I think it looks, and I think he should keep the little bit of hair too. You know,
Yeah.
on his head. I don't,
Good old
Not sure.
baby brains.
yeah.
But I think. But let's get back. I want to talk about the standardization in strongman, right? So we've talked in the past about what was that competition where it's just the two events. It was the log and the,
I can't remember what it's
I
called.
don't remember what it is.
And
either,
an end of deadlift, a form of deadlift.
Yeah, like an axle. It was
Yeah.
like an 18-inch axle. But that I think is too much standardized, though it is interesting. It might be a great introductory thing. But for what the sport is, I think you want a little bit of unknown and a little bit of odd object stuff, right? Because if it was all like really like fixed movement patterns, somebody like Mateus, you'd have never seen him come out and mop the floor with everybody on the fucking stone to shoulder like you did at the Arnold. You know, you wouldn't have got that.
And I think that's kind of like, after seeing that, to me,
You're
that
like,
really is like the
whoa.
magic of strongman. It's like you're
That's
watching guys that are the strongest guys in the world absolutely struggle with something. Like, but you're the strongest in the world. Like, why should this be so hard?
And
And
why
then just
does-
some dude who is also among the strongest in the world, but in a little different class, like come out and just make these guys look like they're like
And he's
kids.
that much better better than them at whatever that specific type of strength is it's very interesting. And that's why I do think that there's value in having that much some like randomness, a fucking stone that you're not going to replicate next year.
Yep.
And I get that, but there does become a point where it's too much of a free for all too. Where if it's all odds, it just becomes dangerous. I think you have one like really odd object maybe per competition. I'd be okay with like one stone to shoulder, one weird overhead. You know what I mean? But like you can't have everything be fucking weird
Right.
Yeah.
because nobody's gonna want to do it. Plus, it just rips your shit up.
Yeah.
Like those are the things that like literally like tear up your skin, and like. It just becomes then the whole competition, like I said, just becomes a war of attrition. It's like everybody's getting hurt. And
It does seem though like the last few years it has really settled into, there's going to be some type of deadlift or pull. There's going to be some type of carry, whether that's frame or farmers or something like that. There's going to be some type of medley. What else is there usually?
An overhead.
An overhead thing. Like they kind of really have started to settle
And
into that.
stones,
And then stones, like that's kind of always the classic. But they really have settled into that pattern. It seems like lately.
And I don't know if that's good or bad. I haven't thought about it enough to know if that's worth having a gripe about, but it does become predictable. You're like, it's like, what kind of deadlift are we doing today?
Yeah.
Like maybe the more different one this year, just because I think it's been maybe a couple years. Didn't they do some type of pull
They did a truck pull.
like a truck pull? And had that been missing the last couple years?
They did an airplane last year.
Was that last year?
I think at Worlds they've included
almost
that for the
always.
most part. Yeah, that really hasn't gone away too much.
Either
I don't think.
it may not be in the final.
Maybe that's it. Yeah,
you're
maybe
right.
that's
right.
Yep.
Yes, that could be
Because
too.
the prelims are another thing that almost impossible to even see anything on it.
The deadlift was weird at Worlds this year. That was one where like the barrels kept dropping into. Imagine a car deadlift, except instead of the car, it was just like a big steel box full of barrels that kept dropping in.
And that's a throwback thing too that they had done.
I think they'd done it with a squat. Or no, did they squat?
They did both
This
in the
year?
heats. They did some. It depended on which heat you're with. Some
That's
did the
why I'd
deadlift
seen
and
them
some
both.
did the squat like that. But it's harder to have context when you're watching some of that stuff too. Like, oh, that guy got the 5th barrel. I wonder if I could get the 5th barrel. And it's like, you know what?
And we've said it in the past about how like, it doesn't matter what the weight is. It just has to look for a show. It just
because I would also make the argument for context that
just them against
almost
each other
no one
is-
knows the context of what 700 pounds versus 800 pounds versus 900 pounds is.
Yeah.
So like already it's like, well, it's just something that's really, really tough.
Yeah. It's heavy.
Yeah, it has. It's crossed the realm of what
Yeah.
99.999% of people will ever comprehend. It is just heavy.
Right.
Speaking of heavy, I saw this picture of James Harrison with Chris Hemsworth, the guy who plays Thor in the movies, in the Marvel movies. Now either Thor has gotten very small, which is probably not the case because I'm assuming he's going to be in more movies. But James Harrison is a real man. Jesus Christ. Like,
He's way.
yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah, he's crazy wide. But I don't know. Is Thor really that jacked?
that's
though?
what I'm wondering. Is
I
that
don't
just
think-
movie tricks, or is he
yeah.
just
I don't
compared
think he
to some
really
normal
is.
ass dudes? Because he looks fucking jacked in those movies.
Yeah, I think it's a
Because
bit of movie
and
magic.
he's always
like,
got his fucking sleeves off.
I bet he's not actually that jacked though.
Because he definitely does not look that jacked next to James Harrison. Now, a lot of people don't look that jacked next to James Harrison. but
Did he retire officially this year?
I
or-
think so, yeah.
Did he? So he's just going to be a full-time Rhino Bar rep.
the repping the Rhino Flex bar.
You know, you actually bring up an interesting point there, Tyler, of talking about people not being as jacked as you remember, because we've talked about this. Talked about this in the gym with some guys, and the classic movie Heavyweights. One of the one of the characters from it, the bad guys, Lars. We were saying, like, as kids, like, man, that guy was big and scary. And like really, really ripped. And then you go back and watch the movie again.
Did that guy even work
like,
out?
That guy just had good posture.
Yeah, that guy literally did not.
Yeah, no muscle
way.
development. It was like kind of like, whoa, really? as a kid.
Or they had him lift for like 3 weeks before that movie.
Or just like, yeah,
It's same with the Bash brothers from Mighty Ducks.
It's like, you guys you're even big.
Yeah,
You just
had
assholes.
like leather jackets on.
You just had shitty parents.
You were just poor. That's the only thing.
But yeah, I think if you went back and watched a lot of, those movies from a kid, you'd be like, whoa, like these people, like they're the bad guy. Like they're not any different than they're not even any bigger or stronger. But I also got into a talk with someone the other day talking about like pro wrestler physiques. I feel like those have gone downhill over the years.
Yes, that's drug testing.
And that's what I said too, is it's a drug. Because like Big Papa Pump, I remember at the time thinking, man, those are like third grade me was like, those are the biggest arms I've ever seen in my whole
Those
life.
are the biggest. I mean,
All of those guys were so jacked. Like the Ultimate Warrior was so jacked. Those guys were so fucking huge and so lean. And also don't think they really knew about what drugs they were taking. They just took them all.
most of those guys, a lot of those guys could have been pro bodybuilders. I mean,
Yeah,
they were just
yeah.
like right there.
Yeah.
If they would set their mind to that, they could have been.
Fucking
I think.
Big Papa Pump went on fucking stage. People be like, what in the fuck is that?
What a freak show. What Clay Matthews one time, you know how they have guys come into the WWE.
Yeah.
He was on there once, and in the NFL, I think people generally think he's kind of a big guy, or he's not massive compared to
But,
like
I
an
mean,
offensive
yeah,
lineman, but
yeah,
he's
but-
like.
But he's like Jack.
He has,
Yeah.
he has a bit of a physique, like he's.
And I can't remember who he's in the ring with, if he was with Cena or who it was, and he just looked tiny. Like his arms looked like spaghetti noodles compared to everyone's.
John Cena's weird big. He's
He
one
is.
that raises. If he was not so goddamn wholesome,
Yeah,
like he looks like he would raise the drug testing.
he's the one
question for
keeping the
me.
dream alive.
Do they just do their own drug testing though?
Yeah, they do.
Is that
but
really what it is?
Yeah, but they say.
When you say their own, you mean the WWE does their
I
own?
believe
or?
so.
But they probably just are like, John Cena, you're good.
They just
You
gotta.
know,
They
like-
gotta be like that with John
Yeah.
Cena. But he even. I think he has a deal like at his gym. He like staples up on the wall every past drug test he's ever had. But fucking, I don't know.
I kind of don't.
Lance
really get
Armstrong
the drug,
never fucking failed a drug test either.
I just don't completely get drug testing in the WWE because with that,
I-
it's purely like you're not giving someone the athletic.
And also, it's just a show.
Like the whole point is like,
Well, here's
you're
the deal,
going
like-
to look at a guy in a mask look like a freak.
It's like
Well, look at what actors do.
Yeah.
Like plenty of
Right.
like
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. Apparently, because he does not look like Thor right there, something happened to him, and so. But like a lot, I think a lot of those actors, when it comes time to,
The
to
Rock.
well, maybe, but have you seen the new Baywatch movie?
I didn't.
Why the fuck is Zac Efron so jacked? That doesn't even make sense. To me.
crazy lean?
Crazy jacked and like big.
Yeah.
My wife, we're watching that fucking movie, and there's actually a scene where they're just doing like strongman stuff. Just like gratuitous, like just dudes with a sweaty pump lifting weights in the sun. And I was like, Megan's like, "Ooh, geez," and I was like, "Turn this smut off." like we're watching this. It's Baywatch, obviously, so there's all sorts of half-naked, beautiful people running around in there. And as soon as that scene comes on, I'm like, this is
inappropriate.
This is giving men a really unrealistic.
Yeah, this has gone too far.
Body image expectation. We could never live up to this, honey.
Yeah.
This is garbage. But yeah, I don't understand why for a show those guys.
What I think it probably is as much, in most sports it's like the competition aspect. They want it to be an even playing field, but I think probably part of it in WWE is they have such a bad rap of people committing suicide and
I think it's-
other drug
I
problems.
think that and the role
like
model
they're just
thing,
trying
too.
they're just trying to clean up their own perception.
Yeah, because it's a lot of kids
Well, there was
watching
all this
it.
weird, like after like the Chris Benoit stuff, that was a bad deal. But like, it's like that's a head trauma thing,
Right.
And a
But
mental
people-
illness thing.
but that doesn't stop
were
people
like,
from blaming it on-
Yeah, they're like definitely steroids.
And also, I think the WWE has gone in different spurts where in some eras it's been more kid friendly, in some eras
Well,
it's
and
been
now,
less kid friendly.
now
and I
they're
think now
publicly traded or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not just the McMahon family. Just
It is as kid friendly as
Yeah.
it. I mean, which is appalling to me.
well, I just couldn't imagine like that Attitude Era, like Raw's
you
War. If
imagine
that kept
that
going, like
happened now?
people would literally be killing themselves. Like, there's no way you could keep that intensity up.
Yeah.
Like, but also though, if it still was that way, I would totally still watch.
There was
I mean, you're talking like slamming beers and flipping off Vince McMahon
Yeah.
and like fucking DX coming up telling people
like
to suck it.
boobies coming
Yeah,
out.
kids
Like,
coming out in the crowd.
Who's your favorite wrestlers ever?
Oh Jesus!
I always liked. Okay, I mean, obviously everyone likes Stone Cold. I don't know how you couldn't.
Stone Cold and The Rock should be like
The Rock's
near-
really good.
They should be in like
Anyone that's
on everybody's
within
list.
10 years age
Depending
of
on how old,
us,
depending on how old I was, I went through stages of liking and not liking Triple H. I liked guys that would fly around like the Hardy Boys and like Rob Van Dam. I like them. Rey Mysterio, I liked him a lot too. And these are a little bit on the newer side.
Yeah.
But
I didn't like the jump around guys.
Really?
very
Oh.
much.
I didn't either.
I thought it was
I kind of
so-
like the Giant or the Big Show.
yeah, they're
you
fun
know,
to watch.
like I
just thought when I was a kid, like when like the Hardy Boys are going on top of a ladder and like doing a freaking swanton bomb off of it, that was the craziest thing I'd ever seen
Oh,
in my
it's
life.
crazy.
Yeah.
My like once they started, and that was the thing to do. Like they had kind of the Attitude Era where everybody was, was able to be PG-13, bordering on rated R sometimes.
Yeah.
R-rated pay-per-views, I guess, if
Yeah.
you will. But then, and then what they did is they started, when they had that freedom, they started to move some of those guys from like the more extreme, like backyard wrestling background
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
And then you have like fucking people getting choke slammed onto bags of thumbtacks and shit.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with the WWE Network?
As far as
So like you
the
can
subscription,
you can get like a subscription to the WWE.
And
It's basically like
probably the best $9 a month.
So it's like Netflix for people that don't know. It's like Netflix for the WWE. You get the subscription and you get access to every pay-per-view ever. And
including the new ones.
Including the new ones, yeah. But you want to watch WrestleMania 1, you just go pull it up and it's on there. Well, my roommate at the time, for whatever reason, I think there was a promotion where it was like buy 1 month of the WWE Network and get like a month or two free. He's like, we're just sitting there like drinking beers in my house like we did a lot at that time. He's like, guys, I got the WWE Network. I'm like, oh, that's cool. He's like, should we watch a pay-per-view before we go out? Sure, let's load one up. And so we just turn on Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker and Mankind.
Yes.
And
I was going to bring up Mankind.
And we're
Undertaker
like
both,
10 minutes into this thing, and like we had drank quite a bit, and like we're getting really into it. All of a sudden, we are screaming at the TV, like, like going nuts. It's like,
what the
fuck? Like, because there's no way that stuff would ever fly nowadays.
Yeah.
You're like, don't do it, Mick.
Yeah, and so like
give up, Mick. Just tap out, Mick.
Our plan was like to go to the bar at like 10:15, and it's like 11:30, and we're like, okay, we gotta leave. We came home 2 a.m., threw it back on, and we're just like watching these pay-per-views, and it was. I mean, it's a whole nother era of television.
Are waiting for you at the bar. Like, why are you fucking guys?
So I would doing that. All I guess I'm gonna say is the next time you're with the guys and you're looking for something to do, get them one subscription to the WWE Network.
Now,
check out some of those classics.
You didn't throw out any names though of like your own.
For sure, The Rock and Stone Cold, obviously. I think as other than like Ric Flair, and like the thing is the old guys could work the camera really good. Mm-hmm. Ric Flair, Hogan. Ultimate Warrior, even though Macho Man could really do it. But like you could they could really, really deliver on the mic. But there was something about like when the Rock would come out.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking early Rock. I think like mid to late Rock where he was
where he had already completely built that persona and
everything was there.
He just has to give a look and
so
it's
then
like
he could do whatever he wanted. It was hilarious, and all of the, like he could still almost float one past you, and he'd be like, well, what do you think? It doesn't matter what you think.
I love that.
Or he'd stand up and you could actually see him flare his nostrils, smelling.
Sniffing around.
That's what I mean. He could just not even say a word
that
for
would
like
get
10
people
seconds,
going, though.
and it would just the crowd would feel so many different
It's like
emotions.
how many people have the power that they can flare their nostrils and make an arena go crazy.
I fucking also smell what the Rock is cooking. He's smelling it up there right now. And I also do. Actually, this is one of my favorite things about the WWE is how much of like the specialty moves or like their finishers, how many of them are just totally rehashed.
Oh yeah,
they put like one new thing to the beginning of it, and then they're all of a sudden this is like the Rock's people's elbow is just an elbow drop.
It's just
How
the
are
dance.
The special moves
it's the
more
dance.
painful than the
literally just a standing elbow drop that you just dance over top of it first. But but man, every time he stands up there. And the arms come across, and he takes off the elbow sleeve, so it's extra vicious.
That's a pretty terrible move.
Well, you do have the rock bottom.
The rock bottom is much better.
Wasn't the rock bottom also like identical to the pedigree? Is that
no,
what I'm thinking of?
the pedigree, that was what Triple H had.
But no,
right?
But I think who else like that's a move that like a dozen people have.
Yeah.
Oh, like any variation of you get like your choke slams and your rock bottoms and any like DDT pedigree,
the
stunner, like any.
The stunner is my favorite.
Isn't the stunner like exactly what fucking Randy Orton does?
Yeah, but with the stunner, you always have to precede it with a kick to the nuts.
They're like,
the setup.
All right.
It's like the setup to any good joke,
But
Goldberg was the spear, and that's literally just tackling someone.
When I was a kid, man, we get really hyped on that thing.
Goldberg, I liked the WCW.
Did you? Were you?
I mean, I watched a little both, but I really liked WCW for a while. So Goldberg was my favorite for a long period of time, and I also really liked the NWO Wolfpack.
Yeah.
So I liked like Sting and Kevin
Sting
Nash
was always a classic.
See, I was a hardline WWF guy. So when the WCW come out, it was like Hogan, don't you fucking do that. And I was a kid, but I was like, it was like being betrayed. And then, so I had no desire. Like, I didn't follow WCW then. I was closed off to it.
Yeah.
And I think I've told a story on air about how I dumped Hulk Hogan over when I was a kid. Did I ever tell you that story? Oh, good. Okay, this is a great segue. So, we were out at the motorcycle rally in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and there was a huge water park that they had out there in Rapid City. And one day, we're out there in the summer, just happened to be during the rally, and that was when they had out at the rally the WCW.
Yeah, it was a big event.
And I think that was with
I think it was like a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it
event
was a pay-per-view, and it was the one with like Jay Leno and Dennis Rodman. I think.
Okay, yeah. So you were
Remember
still
that one?
getting all the celebrities.
Yeah, they'd pull them in, and so because the WCW is trash, and they had to do gimmicks, but whatever. But no, so we're at the water park, and in walks like Kevin Nash, fucking Razor Ramon. What was his fucking real name?
Scott Hall.
Scott Hall, Hulk Hogan. I don't know why. I don't remember who else was there that day, but but those are the three that I remember. Hulk Hogan was there with his daughter Brooke, who was about my age. I was, I think, 11 or 12 years old at the time. So at 11, 12 years old, I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
But so we go up to this fucking water slide that you're in a tube, and you can get partner tubes, right? So you're in a tube and you go down this little thing, and then you float on this. You go down a little slide and you float for a little bit, and then you go down another little slide and float. Well, they're like, I don't know, like 10, 15 people behind us or something like that. And so me and this dude I was with, we're like floating down the thing. We go down the first one, we go down the next one. We're like, well, let's kind of hide out here. So we kind of hid, thinking we'd just see him or whatever. Because it was really, really busy that day, middle of summer. And people keep coming past us. And someone comes down, they like jarred us loose from what we're hanging on to. And we get sucked back right underneath where people come down. And I look up and we're like, oh, fuck, it's fucking Hulk Hogan. And sure enough, Hulk Hogan and his daughter come down, and they are right on top. They like smash right on us to the point where literally when everything cleared, their tube is on top of our tube. And so I looked over at the kid I was with, and we're like, fuck it, and fucking just shoved up and dumped him right over. So they go right over into the drink, and he gets up, and he's like, got his whack hair at that point. He still had the do-rag on. Yeah. And he comes up soaking wet, looking brown as the fucking day is long. and he comes up, and his exact words were, oh, hey, watch out there, brother. And that was when me and Hulk Hogan became best friends, basically. No, basically, we got the fuck out of there right away.
That's pretty cool.
We put him right in the drink. That was the day I kicked Hulk Hogan's ass.
I saw this pop up on Instagram the other day, and I don't know if it's real. I think it is real, and it's a screenshot of Hulk Hogan, and it says, "Do you guys remember Bam?
Bam Margera.
Bam Margera.
Oh yeah.
It's Hulk Hogan tweeted this. It's a picture of him and Bam. He says, "Damn, Bam, I wish you were still with us. I sure would love to hang out with you again, my brother. Love you, miss you, Hulk Hogan." And then put the tweet below it. Got Ryan and Bam mixed up. Sorry, Bam. It's like,
well, and I think Bam had responded like hey, miss you too, dude. We should hang out.
And then it's so Hulk Hogan's maybe just.
It's like, oh, you got the one that died.
Yeah,
it's with the one that didn't.
Yeah. That's funny.
Just doing Hulk Hogan things.
Did we talk about? Did you watch the Andre the Giant documentary?
I haven't.
Did we
seen
have?
that.
No,
I haven't seen that either. No.
Did you say that's on Netflix?
It's on HBO.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys not have HBO Go?
I do. I think
you should use it. You should definitely check it out.
Depending on the month,
it's really good.
That's where we're at on that too. Depends on we go with it and without it. Like when
you can do that.
Yeah, like you can just pay for
it's
like
Netflix,
a month at a
just
time.
get a month.
So like we,
really? That's inconvenient.
Well, I just wait until say like Game of Thrones is almost over, and then I get it and watch all of them, and
Yeah, you're really cheap.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But it saves me $60 a year. I got to make 6 cancellations and 6 signups, but
it totally pays off.
I had a friend. He thought he had HBO, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll just log into my account, and couldn't get into his account, and then called HBO support, like complaining, sat on the customer service line going back and forth with the guy for probably close to an hour before he found out that, I was just using the wrong email address the whole time. And I had to sit through that conversation. It was like one of those really just Wow, man.
Or where it's like, oh, never mind, I've never actually paid for this.
Yeah.
I was just using
It's just
someone
on my uncle's account
Yeah.
this whole time.
But no, that's really good. Highly recommend it. Also, I never thought in a million years while Vince McMahon is talking on screen that he'd be like choked up. I'd be like, that you would watch Vince McMahon talk and be like, no, I'm cool.
Yeah,
Cool, don't worry about it. But no, it's really, really, really good. It's a 10 out of 10. It's a good watch.
I would like to watch that.
Put it on the list.
Put it on the old list. Maybe next time you watch something stupid, you could just replace it with something like that.
Something not stupid.
Something that's not stupid.
It's good advice.
But yeah, what do I got?
We do have a good review whenever that's time for that too.
I think we're almost there.
Yeah,
Did
it's a good one too. Just
Did we talk about me and Dan Bell becoming famous?
I don't think so. I'm not sure I know about this even.
I know I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast or not. I can't
So
remember.
I got a message from Dan
About, like, the bear thing.
We've been so busy
Oh.
that I don't remember what we said on
I
air.
can't remember what we talked about. I have heard about this. I don't remember where though.
Do we dare go down this road? All right, we
can't
won't go
remember.
down that road here. If you
Yeah.
listen to the podcast
And you
regularly
haven't
you haven't heard about me and Dan becoming famous, you can shoot us a message on Instagram and we'll talk about it when I get back. What do we got for a review there, Tanner?
It's a good one.
All right, who can we thank for this review?
This is screen name on here is John Cotton RN, which would be Jonathan Cotton. Is the guy out of I think he lives in Denver now. He's a strongman and powerlifting
Is
competitor.
that Cotton Sense? on
Yes.
Instagram? That sounds familiar,
Yes, yes, that is
right? I
him.
don't know if there's things that no, it's just Cotton Sense.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Dude's strong as fuck.
yes,
By the way.
yes, he
Yeah.
is. His title was "It Was Time," 5 out of 5 stars.
I like that.
Said, well, I've been listening to the podcast for over a year now. I've watched the YouTube interviews from the Arnold Classic. I've read the articles on Massenomics website. I follow Massenomics and the co-hosts on Instagram.
Damn.
I've even bought a shirt. So I realized I've done just about all of the Massenomics things except leave a review. Last episode, Tyler started in again at the end with the guilt trip about leaving a review. And it worked. I felt guilty because I've been a consumer of all the products and haven't given anything back. So if you're reading this and also haven't left a review, feel guilty and do it. That being said, here's the actual review. I like these. I always like the really long ones.
That's the one where you're like, all right, let me.
Where you think it's over and then it's a new paragraph.
Yeah, just waiting for someone to just link a Wikipedia entry onto there.
Are we on Wikipedia yet, by the way?
I don't think so because they don't let you put yourself on Wikipedia.
Damn it.
That being said, here's the actual review. The podcast is great. The guys cover a variety of topics in the fitness industry, specifically regarding strongman and powerlifting, but also other stuff. Sometimes they even cover topics that they know very little about. That would be most of
I was
it.
gonna say, yeah, get rid of the sometimes there.
But they cover it up well by being really funny, and they are actually quite knowledgeable about most things they cover, given that they all actually train and compete in strength sports. Definitely worth subscribing to the podcast and YouTube channel. And the one shirt I bought is very comfortable. Makes me look 12% more jacked, and I hit a circus dumbbell PR while wearing it, which is obviously a case of causation, not correlation.
He gets it.
Yep. So buy a shirt too. Probably buy a couple just to be safe. Thanks for all the content, guys. Appreciate all the advice on how to get strong, stay strong, and whatever else Kaz said.
I like that.
Except I actually mean it.
How to use your
Cotton.
strength.
Yeah. When I read that, what it is. When I read that,
it's a really
I didn't
good
realize he was doing that at first, and I was like, huh. And then he's like, oh, he is quoting Kaz.
I haven't listened to that soundbite in so long. A lot of good information. How to get your strength. How to use your strength. How to be strong.
Except I actually mean it. Not just Kaz saying it to humor us. So that's a good review. Thank you, John Cotton. That gives us 75 out of 5 stars. Road to 100 hashtag.
There we go. I mean, we were thinking about shutting down the podcast, but since
Yep.
we got another review, I guess
We
keep
can
it going.
keep going.
we get $10,000 for every 5-star review. So I think it'd be really nice if you guys left more of those.
Yes.
I think that's how Apple does it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like a 10-year delay. It's like a trust they put the money in.
Yeah.
So we
that's
just got to
right.
wait.
Yeah, they don't want us.
We
to
just
blow it
wait a
all
really
before.
long time. But yeah,
We have to
When
wait till
we're
we're
young,
70.
when we're young
Yeah.
and irresponsible.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
That was a good review, though. I give that review a 5 out of 5 stars.
Can we rate reviews?
Yeah, I'd like to start reviewing reviews.
Yeah. Do we have any? Have we got any bad reviews?
No. I mean,
we're
all 5 out of 5 stars.
we're
There's
probably-
been some questionable comments in there. But
We have to be one of the only podcasts on Apple Podcasts to almost have exclusively 5-star reviews.
perfect score.
It's actually because I delete all the 4s, 3s, and 2s.
We have the perfect score.
Or the
I mean, at
don't
some
have a
point,
comparison.
there's going to be a thing. Someone's going to filter by highest rated, and we're going to pop up on that list.
somewhere.
Some point.
What are we gonna do when we get to 100?
Then we
We're gonna pretend that we're gonna eat 100 McNuggets and just not do it.
We're going to hype up something.
we'll make something else up that we
let
won't
the
do.
plans fall through.
Yeah, I owe you guys some McNugget eating on air. The problem is it's gonna be bad radio. It's gonna be, you guys are just gonna sit here and talk while I'm going.
Slurping on sweet and sour sauce.
He's still doing it.
Be like, God, that is
Shoved another one in.
There's a lot of ketchup you're using for a chicken product. I was talking to somebody today too about. All right, we have a little bit of time here. I wanna run this conversation by you guys. Are you guys like sauce guys with your foods?
I am a little bit, but I mean, yeah, I mean to an extent. I don't like. I definitely know people that like their food choice is completely based on the sauce, and I don't do that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like some people are really huge into ketchup. Like there's certain things that ketchup does not go on for me because, like any sauce, I mean, once you have it on there, you almost don't taste the food; you taste the sauce then.
Have either of you guys ever tried Big John's Old West barbecue dipping sauce?
I actually think we should talk about this
West.
because this I do believe is one of the best kept secrets of South Dakota. Like
Big John's Old West dipping sauce.
Not
for
a sponsor.
for real. No, they're not a
Really
sponsor,
not.
but this is I really do think it is one of the best barbecue sauces.
People
Not just
buy it.
Yeah.
yeah, you can
it's
go online,
not-
JamesValleyCompany.com, I believe.
Yeah.
It's-
And it is throughout the United States, but it's kind of selective chains. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Like,
it's
you can't
not in
always walk into
Walmart.
your store and get it.
Yeah, not every store, but I know it's in like Hy-Vee's, certain grocery stores I know.
I do
carry it.
firmly believe that most restaurants across the country, if they added in that as a wings sauce flavor, that they would have a real hit on their hands all of a sudden.
That shit is so unreasonably good.
Locally, it's very
Locally, it's really popular.
It's like every restaurant
Every single
has
restaurant here that has a barbecue product, that is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's really, and it's different. Like most barbecue sauces are like heavily tomato based.
And they're like a version of the same thing.
Yeah, like you could go to the grocery store right now, pick out 10 random barbecue sauces, and like 6 of them are almost identical.
Same, yeah.
And then the ones that are different are just because this one's spicier, this one's tangier, and whatever. But Old West barbecue sauce has like this really it's thick. Like first of all, that's what makes it different is its
like
thickness.
sticky.
Yeah.
And it's got
Yeah,
like
it
these
is really-
pepper flakes in it.
Yeah.
But it's also got a certain amount of sweetness to it too. Like
This is the
Yeah.
most in-depth plug for something we're not getting paid to do. We did, I guess, give away some of their sauce as
Yeah.
a prize
And they have
at a
been-
competition.
They've
have-
been sponsors of
they
the,
are
Star-
supporters of Massenomics.
Yeah, yeah.
They do buy shirts and raise Tanner. But
But that's it.
but
I don't know if
no,
they did a great job of that.
But
I mean, just look.
I mean, we know. but no, that shit is good. But sauces, are you like? Because I was talking today with somebody who like buys like a bottle of ketchup every like fucking 8 weeks.
I'm even less than that. I don't even know foods that put ketchup. Like you were saying, chicken and ketchup. To me, chicken and ketchup never ever go together.
Yeah, I probably should.
Never.
But chicken and nothing is super gross.
Well, that's why I always have to do barbecue sauce.
yeah.
And the other big one too is when it comes to sauces, Midwest especially, like people from other parts of the country might not get this as much, but Midwest people smother everything in ranch.
Yes.
I do
ranch-
not like ranch
like,
very well. I don't eat
pe-
that
like
much.
I don't
people-
do it like people do. no.
I don't like.
I don't like ranch as a dipping. I don't like ranch very well.
I hardly use it on anything, and the main reason I'll use it is like I haven't had ranch for months. Like I gotta see what this flavor's about again. But like growing up, like obviously all your chicken
people
products,
put it on pizza.
But
and,
pizza,
like-
yeah, I always had friends that would smother their pizza in ranch. Like not saying like they'd get like a ranch based sauce, like they'd get their pizza. And then they'd get
Like
a
a
whole
pepperoni
dipping,
pizza.
and then get a whole dipping container of ranch and just go to town. Fries, really anything you can get ranch with, and people do it in the Midwest.
I'm not huge. I like ketchup, but I mean, I don't know. I could go with or
How
without.
much you go through in your household in a week?
Not very much. I mean, we don't buy. I can't.
If I buy 2 big bottles a year, I'd say that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But what do you
Christ.
put? Like my ketchup,
All right, so-
ketchup dips are like burgers and brats.
I like it.
ketchup
I
on.
really like it on burgers and brats. That would be what I use
and
ketchup.
I
for.
would still prefer like a good like Dijon horseradish mustard on my brats, but ketchup is a good compliment too. Outside of that, I almost don't use.
So what I do is I still have ketchup with my breakfast when I have, and I'm a ketchup on eggs guy.
See, I'm not
See,
a ketchup
I
on
have
eggs guy either.
salsa.
But I don't do runny yolks either.
See, yeah, you
because
don't-
of
yeah.
the beard. So you gotta have something, or else it's just, and then it's just, but it's just kind of meat and hash browns and eggs. So but I use a lot.
I'm okay with ketchup on hash browns.
But
That
I
is-
do use a lot in that instance too. And then like my other meals may be like there's like maybe a couple stray vegetables in there, but you're talking mostly rice or a potato and either beef or chicken. And a lot of times it might just be ground beef in a pile with rice, and you're like, you only got basically barbecue sauce, hot sauce, salsa, or ketchup, and I kind of just like ketchup more than I like beef and rice.
Yeah.
So it's just fucking slather it up. You mix it up, and it just kind of becomes this like sloppy Joe paste. And you just fucking, and I just wolf it down, and that is like what I eat all the time.
Yeah.
And I eat a weird amount of ketchup. I do kind of. We're talking today, like I kind of throw a lot of it away too, because I don't
on your plate.
Yeah, you
Because-
don't
well,
lick
yeah.
the plate of ketchup.
Well, because I also don't want what I'm dipping to like not have enough. You know what
It's
I mean? Like,
worse when the proportions run out to like 3/4.
Yeah, you have
I
like,
think
or you
I-
have like a few
if I
bites
have-
left, and it's like, well, do I got to put a whole nother squirt down?
Exactly. And I put, you know what? I put the whole nother squirt down. It's like if you're going to send your kid to college, you're going to pay for your kid to go to college. You want to have 4 years. You don't want to run out of money after 2 years.
after 3.5.
And that's the way I'm at with this. It's like I got 4 bites here. I need enough for all of it. I got to make sure I got enough.
Yeah.
And then if there's a bunch left over, I've actually done it where I've gone back and got more food
Just to use the ketchup.
just to try to get the ketchup used up. Like a real fatty.
The proportions got to be all right, you know.
I always want them to be gone at the same time.
It's tough
yeah,
getting that ratio in.
Yeah.
You know, everything's got to be balanced.
When I eat any meal, I always whatever I'm having that's the least appetizing thing to me, I like to eat all of that first. That's
that
how
out
I
of the way,
go.
yeah.
Like if I have spinach on my eggs and stuff in the morning, I always eat all the spinach right away with as little egg as possible. So then I get done with that, and I'm like, all right, now it's time to,
Because the last thing you want to do too is be like kind of full.
and then have to
And
eat
then
something you
have to
don't
eat
like.
something
Down the
Yeah.
bad stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But I go through, at Walmart, they sell ketchup in, I believe they're 48-ounce bottles, big ones, right?
Yep.
And there's 2 of them together on a.
Yeah, they're
Is it
like
the
connected, right?
Is it
Yeah.
the ones where the cap is on the bottom? Or is that all the
Kind
ketchup
of.
comes
Yeah,
in
I think
now?
they all are that way
All right.
now.
Is that a good? Do you think that was a good invention?
Yes and no.
But I hate when you open it up
It's
and then
too
all.
aggressive. Boom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know,
It's always like
I know.
that.
I don't have a solution to that problem. But those so that's like 96 ounces of ketchup, and that will last me 1 week.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
That's a week.
Whoa.
I'll go through 2 of those a week most weeks.
That is easily a year's supply
It's
for me.
super
Easily.
gross, probably.
When you get, how about this? When you get the ketchup on the, it's the little butthole part of it, and then the bigger. When
Yep.
you get ketchup on that, do you clean it up or do you just close it?
It
And
depends on. So
It depends, too.
depends on how long it's been there. If it just got there, like I do the deal and it's there, I'll just give the old finger
Yeah.
swipe, move on, rub it in my gums, give
I'll say that. Get that hit
it a
going.
little. But yeah, if it's like if I open it and I find it there, that's staying. I ain't touching it.
So, do you ever explore the exotic ketchups like your? I've seen.
I have
jalapeno ketchup
not.
or something like
I made a ketchup one time with like a really it was a little invasively spicy, but with I grew a bunch of like Tabasco peppers, which I thought Tabasco was just the name of a sauce. I didn't realize it was
a pepper.
But as they sit, they're pretty fucking hot, you know. And so I made that. I basically like blend a bunch of those up in the food, like liquefy them in a food processor,
Yep.
and then added like 2 bottles of ketchup. Or I started with 1 bottle of ketchup, and it was intolerably hot. So then I had 2 bottles of ketchup in to like dumb it down, and that took me months to get through those 2, because you'd be sweating more than I normally sweat when I eat, and then you'd have diarrhea.
More than just your average eating sweat.
Because then it's like
More than the
pretty,
normal meat sweats.
when it's pretty acidic, so like between the ketchup and all that stuff, so like it would just hurt your ass.
Yeah.
What about ketchup chips?
I almost don't eat chips.
Okay.
do
But
not
have you ever
eat chips.
had them though?
No.
I tried
Is that
one.
a Canadian thing?
I don't.
think?
My roommate at the time showed up with a bag of them. It's like, try it, and I had one. I'm like, yeah, that's not good. It was not for me.
Yeah, gross. I don't eat chips either.
I really don't eat chips.
Even like tortilla chips, man. Tortilla chips are just.
Listen, if there's a spread and there's tortilla chips and like a good guacamole or a good dip, like I can go off on them, but I have not bought a bag of chips in 3 or 4.
So do you guys like popcorn?
No.
Yes.
Really?
That's another
Okay,
thing
you know
that
how
I
you can
don't
just
ha-
like
I don't
sit
have
and just
room
like
for.
it's like popcorn. It's not like it's not sweet at all. It's just got that perfect amount of saltiness, and you never really feel like you're eating anything. And it's not so rich that you gotta you can just keep going forever. Like that's how I feel with tortilla chips. Like, it's pretty bland, but there's the salt there, and it kind of just gives you just enough.
Do you eat them plain?
I can eat them plain even.
Super weird, dude.
Oh, I mean, I like it like guac.
Well, what the fuck just happened?
Back from our smoke break.
I guess we could just use that audio, but it's probably really bad anyways. But I guess that'll be interesting. Anyway, I had a total fucking meltdown, guys. I went to take the computer out of screensaver mode and hit the magical space bar.
So we better start over. So Dimitar had a powerlifting meet.
That was pretty cool.
Have you heard about this guy Dimitar?
Strongman
we have
stuff.
that 5-page review. Let's get started with that. Anyway, I guess it's a sign that we probably got to wrap up here.
Yeah.
I don't even know where we left off with the popcorn conversation, Tommy.
Just comparing popcorn to tortilla chips and how that just leaves you always wanting a little more.
I like that.
Just like our podcast.
Just like our
the
podcast,
The reason I don't eat a lot of popcorn is because it's really difficult to put ketchup on. I mean, you put it on
Logistical
there,
nightmare
but
with ketchup.
It's just
It's not
super
the best
messy.
ketchup vehicle.
It's a logistical nightmare. But that will have us wrapped up for today. We'll try to be a little more fluid the next time. I'm Tyler. Oh, yeah, I got to tell you what to do. You should be like Jonathan Cotton. That's what you should do.
Yep, leave us that review.
You should go.
That's
leave
your
us a
assignment.
review, but while also reading all of our articles at Massenomics.com, buying some shirts and hats. Like he said, multiples.
Yeah.
Get the size you wear now. Get one size bigger, and so for when you get bigger, and get one size smaller for if you want to get lean.
And be really strong like John
You should
Cotton,
be
too.
strong like him too. Yeah.
He's a model citizen.
Yeah.
Model Massenomics citizen.
He's our target market.
Yes. Are you strong and like to buy things and leave iTunes reviews?
Boy, we got something for you.
So do all those things. Make sure you go to youtube.com/Massenomics and subscribe. The subscriber list is just flying up too. I think we're at pretty much like super training levels now, basically.
Too high to count.
Coming for the title mark. And also make sure you like us on Facebook. Not like us personally, but, you know, the Massenomics.
Yeah.
You can like us personally on Instagram. I'm Tyler. You can find me at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFF Stone. Tommy?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
Tanner.
The Massenomics account at Massenomics.
Seems like a pretty cool.
Pretty straightforward
It is
handle.
Really fortunate that nobody else got that.
Thank God.
Were we talking about Instagram handles? Was it you guys or was somebody else talking about if Poopa Loompa was taken?
Oh, was it me?
It was not on this podcast.
I bet it is, though.
All right, it is not taken.
Oh.
So if you're out there
You
and
could
you're
be
looking,
Poopaloopa.
you could be Poop Loompa on Instagram. That is not taken. You can
I
use
just
it.
feel like that'd be like a great meme account.
Yeah,
Just from a handle standpoint. It's,
So somebody get out there and get on that, and give me credit where
You could
credit's
be
due.
Poopaloopa.
Yep. So that's your second chapter, your homework. So, all right. Well, thanks a lot for listening, everybody. We will talk to you next week.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast.
later.
With your ears. You're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, Stay strong.